Who was really in control of Elvis Presley's life? From the outside, everything looked perfect: fame, money, adoration. But control rarely announces itself loudly. It arrives quietly and stays. As Elvis's stardom grew, so did the hands around him: managers, studios, contracts. Each decision seemed small, reasonable, temporary, until they weren't. Elvis trusted easily. He believed loyalty mattered more than power, and that belief shaped his world. Schedules became tighter, choices became narrower: where to go, what to sing, when to speak. Freedom slowly turned into permission. Colonel Tom Parker stood at the center of it all, a manager who promised protection, stability, success, and delivered it at a price. Parker controlled deals, negotiations, access. Elvis focused on performing. Parker handled everything else. That division felt safe at first, but dependence grows quietly. Every tour, every film, every appearance, filtered, approved, managed. Elvis's voice filled arenas, but his real voice was often missing from the room. Pressure didn't come as force, it came as obligation. You owe this, you can't say no, people are counting on you. And Elvis hated disappointing people, so he agreed, again and again. The workload increased, the rest decreased. Sleep became irregular, energy was borrowed from tomorrow. To keep going, solutions appeared: small ones, private ones, pills to wake up, pills to slow down. At first they felt like tools, soon they felt necessary. The machine demanded consistency: perfect shows, reliable appearances, no off days, no weakness. Elvis learned to perform even when exhausted, smile through fatigue, sing through strain. Pressure rewards silence, and Elvis stayed silent. The people around him protected the brand, not always the man. Concerns were minimized, problems reframed. Just one more show, just one more contract. There was always a reason not to stop. Isolation followed control. The inner circle grew smaller. Voices of disagreement disappeared. Those who questioned decisions were pushed away. Control thrives in echo chambers, and Elvis's world became one. He still loved music, still loved performing, but the joy was tangled with expectation. He wasn't just Elvis anymore. He was a responsibility, a business, an empire. And empires don't rest. The pressure showed in subtle ways: long silences, mood swings, withdrawal, moments of brilliance followed by collapse. Fans saw the performances, they didn't see the aftermath. Behind closed doors, Elvis struggled with balance. How do you slow down when the world only wants more? How do you say no when your identity is built on yes? The control wasn't always cruel. Sometimes it was polite. Sometimes it was disguised as care. We know what's best. Trust us. And Elvis did, because trust was easier than confrontation. The cost, however, kept rising, physically, mentally. His body began to protest. Fatigue deepened. Recovery slowed. But stopping felt impossible. Stopping meant disappointing everyone, including himself. The pressure to remain Elvis became overwhelming, not the person, the symbol. The expectations never evolved, only intensified. Every comeback demanded more energy. Every appearance carried higher stakes. There was no space to be human, only iconic. Control tightened further. Access to Elvis was restricted, information filtered. The reality softened before it reached him. The world he lived in was carefully curated, and that made escape even harder, because how do you leave a cage you can't fully see? Elvis sensed something was wrong. He spoke about it in fragments, jokes, half-confessions, but the system didn't pause to listen. The shows continued, the schedule filled, pressure became routine, and routine normalized suffering. Yet, even under control, something remained, a spark. Moments on stage when Elvis felt free again, when the music cut through everything. Those moments kept him going, but they weren't enough. Control and pressure don't explode at once. They erode, slowly, relentlessly. By the end, the weight was visible, not just in his body, in his eyes. The fire was still there, but it was fighting exhaustion. Elvis wasn't weak, he was overwhelmed, trapped between obligation and identity, between loyalty and survival. The world demanded more, and Elvis gave everything he had, until there was very little left to give. The tragedy wasn't fame, it was imbalance. Too much control, too much pressure, too little protection. Elvis Presley didn't lose his talent. He lost his space to breathe. And as this chapter closed, one question remained. What happens when the greatest performer on earth can no longer control his own life? The answer would shape the final chapters of his story, and they were coming faster than anyone realized.